My wife and I have been married 5 years. I thought we had a good marriage. I've been very busy lately because I'm secretly planning a surprise trip to Asia. My wife has always wanted to go, and I've been saving up over the years to take her. It's taken a lot of coordination with her best friend, my in-laws, and my best friend since middle school, a lesbian, to help me plan the trips, and she has a much better idea of where everything is. My wife wishes to visit my in-laws. We'll be watching our 2 kids during the trip. It was supposed to happen next year, and I plan to give it as a birthday gift this month. She unexpectedly confronted me a few days ago, claiming to have proof I was cheating. It turns out she has been tracking my movements and even followed me one night when I went to a friend's house to work on the trip. Details. She saw me go in and assumed I was having an affair. When I returned that night, she threw some of my belongings away. "Nikki, is Mia cheating on you?" I tried to explain the situation without spoiling the surprise, but she refused to let it go. We eventually had a big fight, and I felt compelled to tell the truth about the trip. I told her I was planning this special getaway and had been working with my best friend to make it perfect. My best friend confirmed this, and I even had to show the trip details. She believed me after her mother confirmed it. Instead of relief, I am deeply hurt. It was clear to me that she did not trust me at all. She began tracking my movements, which is extremely gross, and that reveals a lot about where we stand. I canceled the whole trip. I explained that her lack of trust made me feel as if all of my hard work had been for nothing. I didn't want to go and pay for a trip with her later. She had absolutely no trust in me. She is angry. Saying I overreacted and canceled the trip was too drastic. She kind of apologized for accusing me again. "Sorry, but this is your fault. This is the type of deal." However, she stated that her suspicions were justified given how secretive I had been. She thinks I should be more understanding of her feelings, but I just want to cheat and follow me. This is a serious breach of trust on her part. I refused to rebook the trip, and now she calls me an idiot. My best friend supports me and is upset that she resorted to cheating. She is also married, adding insult to injury. Yes, I did. It was easier for both of us to simply meet up. My messages are linked to the iPad she frequently uses, and calls were ineffective due to her best friend's availability. I quote, have to hide inside the house or leave so she didn't overhear the conversation. So you acted in a new and secretive manner. I had secret meetings with another woman, concealed information, and am now upset because your wife suspected something was going on. An affair is an entirely logical conclusion for your wife to reach. What would your thoughts have been if the roles were reversed? Also, why did her best friend help her so much with trip planning? I don't think it's wrong that you asked a friend. I'm just curious as to why multiple meetings were necessary. Exactly. This is a one-time lunch meeting and note-taking scenario. I've previously planned a trip to Asia, as well as trips for others. I quote, not sure why multiple trips to her best friend's house late at night were required to make these plans, especially a year in advance. No is a dumb answer. Nothing you secretly plan should disrupt your interactions with the person you're planning it for to the point where they suspect something is wrong. Furthermore, his wife would have preferred to plan her own trip alongside her husband. You quote, the idiot. This is the issue with surprises like this. When your partner keeps secrets and lies to you, you don't know why. It takes time to develop trust in yourself and recognize that something is wrong. Like it or not, people defraud. And often the partner thinks, I had no idea. I believed we had a loving marriage. I quote, I'll ask my wife about couples therapy. We are not going on the trip. And if she refuses, I believe this is grounds for divorce. There is no marriage without trust. And it's clear she doesn't trust me. And I have lost faith in her. My uncle brought me tea to eat on Saturday because he was not present for my birthday 3 weeks ago. He had to bring my step-siblings, a young teen female and a tween male, with us. He is not that step-uncle, by the way. He's my mother's brother. My step-siblings are my father's stepchildren. My uncle and father were once best friends, but their friendship ended 2 years ago when my mother died. Things are chaotic because my uncle still wants to see me, and I want to see him. However, my father does not want my step-siblings to be left out. So they were dragged around at times. My step-siblings suffer from non-anaphylactic food allergies, which is somewhat relevant. Their allergies differ. and they experience rashes, puking, and other symptoms after eating foods to which they are allergic. My father and their mother have made this such a priority that I no longer get to eat at my favorite restaurants. Even if my step-siblings aren't present because it's not fair. I am also the only person in the family. I believe it is more of a burden than a family, as I never get to eat at my favorite restaurants. My father, his wife, and both of my stepchildren have their first choice. However, because mine does not easily accommodate my step-siblings, I cannot have it all. My top 5 are out, even on my birthday. I hate it. I resent it. I don't have the family affection or mushiness that would make things easier. I basically sucked it up. But when my uncle was taking me, I made my first choice, and he took us. My step-siblings did not eat. I didn't feel bad because their needs are always prioritized, and they shouldn't have been tagging along anyway. Their mother was furious when my uncle dropped me off, and my father was disappointed in me. He asked why I chose it, and I told him that it is my favorite restaurant. It's been nearly 6 years since I was able to eat there because they decided I could never have it while living with them. I told him it was supposed to be my birthday, and since I get upset when people celebrate me because of my step-siblings, I didn't see why I had to do it. My uncle was taking me. I told him that they should not have been there in the first place. I did not want them there. He was just joking with my uncle. His wife heard me say that her child shouldn't have been there, and she inquired as to where my compassion and my siblings' bond had gone, and I told her I'd never had one. My step-siblings were extremely upset. They had been forced to watch 2 of us eat, which enraged their mother and made her even more upset with me, especially since I didn't feel bad about it. Am I the area and not the idiot? He is your uncle, not theirs. It was your birthday party, not theirs. Keep those small moments for yourself whenever possible. Your father will realize his mistake when you reach adulthood and begin doing things without them and addressing your uncle on your own terms. Your father should want you to go to a restaurant you enjoy rather than forcing your step-siblings to accompany you. I feel for your step-siblings, but you don't get to choose. Even if they are in quote T. Everything is messed up. I despise the idea that the world revolves around someone with allergies, unless they are fatal. I grew up with multiple food allergies, including eggs, nuts, and seafood, so no birthday cakes or cupcakes, chocolate bars, desserts. I have never forced anyone to choose a restaurant, declined a cake, removed a dessert, or done anything else to accommodate my allergies because they are mine to deal with. Opie's step-siblings are old enough to understand. I'm sorry you have such a terrible father and stepmother. I'm 28 and male. I am a medical resident, so I barely have time to sleep, let alone date my friends. Also, my medical school has been pressuring me to get out more, insisting that I need a break from the grind. A few weeks ago, they set me up on a blind date. They couldn't stop saying how perfect this girl was for me, so I figured why not? I met Emily at the restaurant right away. I could tell she wasn't who my friends expected me to go for. Emily isn't particularly skinny. In fact, she is a little chubby. But honestly, I thought she was very cute. She had an amazing smile, and her laughter made me want to continue the conversation. She is studying geology and is very passionate about her work, talking about volcanic rock formations as if it was the greatest thing ever. By the end of the night, I agreed that talking about the cadavers was a lot more fun. The best part about the date was how comfortable it felt. We both discovered we are autistic, but we were diagnosed late and we mask a lot. We're used to putting on a social act to fit in, but with each other, it felt like we didn't have to pretend as much, making the entire evening more relaxed. It wasn't like most dates, where you were always trying to impress the other person. We just clicked. Emily wasn't the physical type my friends expected me to like, but I didn't mind. She's sweet and funny, and I had a great time with her. We exchanged numbers at the end of the night and have been texting on a regular basis since. A few days later, however, Emily sent me a very sad message. My friends told her that they had set us up as a prank. They set me up with her because they didn't think she was my type, and they chose her specifically because she's chubby and not what they consider conventionally attractive. Think you'll be funny to see how I react. Emily was clearly hurt and texted me to apologize if she wasn't what I expected. She explained that she understood if I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She was wrong. I think she's gorgeous. body and spirit. To be honest, she is my new type. I was furious when I discovered what my friends had done. I immediately apologized to Emily, telling her that my friends were idiots and that I truly enjoyed our date. I assured her that I was not texting her out of sympathy and that I thought she was wonderful. After we discussed it, I asked if she wanted to go on another date. This time, it's just the two of us, no pranks or games. She said yes. My friends are now upset with me, accusing me of ruining the joke and acting strangely by asking her out again. They're acting as if it was all in good fun, and they can't believe I'm going on a second date with someone who was supposed to be the punchline. They even make fun of me for doing it solely to make myself feel bad. But that isn't it. I actually like Emily. I look forward to seeing her again. I don't understand why I should let that prank influence how I feel. So now I'm getting all this backlash, and my friends think I'm an idiot for continuing to see her. I quote M, completely confused. I keep explaining that it's because of my autism that I don't understand it. I am the idiot, not the idiot. Sounds like you need new friends, not some crude and disrespectful high school behavior on their part. It's also disappointing to hear that they plan to become doctors. They are not the type of people who should be trusted with anyone's safety. And they never had to say anything to Emily, whether it went well or not. Setting it up as a prank is childish. It is extremely cruel and unnecessary to kick the boot into her to tell her this. And these people will become doctors. You are so much this. My brother went on his first date with a woman on the back of his friend and coworkers. She was not his type. She was short and athletic, whereas he had always dated tall, willowy women. This November, they will celebrate 22 years of marriage, and their daughter is in her second year of university. The people who made the bet have since sworn they will never reveal that he asked her out on a bet. I would have been overjoyed that their juvenile back worked out so well. I hope you enjoy your date and consider joining a new group of friends. So I, a 34-year-old male, live in a suburban neighborhood with a decent-sized backyard and a pool. I've always been friendly to my neighbors, including Karen, a mid-40s female who moved in next door about a year ago. She appeared nice at first, but as time passed, she revealed her true colors. Over the summer, Karen began to visit with her children, asking if they could use the pool. At first I didn't mind because I was always outside, and the kids seemed to enjoy it. But then things got weird. Karen started showing up unannounced. Sometimes I wasn't even at home. I caught her using the pool without permission. One day, I returned home to find Karen and several of her friends having a full-fledged pool party in my backyard, complete with snacks, music, and pool floats. I confronted her, and she acted as if it was no big deal, saying, "Oh, you weren't using it." So I figured everything was fine. I told her politely but firmly that she needed to ask before coming over, and that I wasn't comfortable with her assuming she could use the pool whenever she wanted. Karen appeared annoyed, but agreed to follow the rules. Then, last week, she took things to an entirely new level. Karen knocked on my door, holding a typed-up list of pool rules that she wanted me to follow. Her list included rules such as no swimming after 5 p.m., because her children have a strict bedtime, no loud music when her family is outside, and mandatory weekend dances for her and the kids, but only for their own use. I thought she was joking at first, but she was very serious. I laughed and told her I was not going to follow any of her rules for my pool. Karen became enraged and accused me of being self-centered, claiming that I was destroying the neighborhood spirit. I'm being unfair to the kids right now. She has been spreading rumors among my neighbors that I am a bad guy for not sharing the pool. Some of my neighbors have even suggested that I let it go to avoid drama. But I think this is insane. It quotes my pool, and she acts as if she owns it. Is it my fault for refusing to let Karen and her children use my pool after she insisted on her ridiculous rules? So basically you maintain the pool and backyard solely for the benefit of Karen and her family. Not the idiot. Karen is insane. Purchase a pool camera with an app that will notify you when someone is in the area. People like her never give up. So you can't either. If you do, you won't know. A brief moment of peace. Hopi needs to lock their fence so this idiot can't get in. And if they do not have a fence, build one. I hope you realize Karen will be the first person at your door with a lawyer. If one of her children injures themselves in your pool, correct? Return Karen's list with edits. We can use Apple whenever we want since it is on our property. You and your family are not permitted to enter our property under any conditions. If you or your family members enter our property, I will call the police, and you will be required to spend time with a police officer who is specifically assigned to your family. Quick update to let everyone know that my backyard fence does not have a lock. I took your advice and bought one from the store, which I'll install tomorrow. I already have a camera, but it isn't pointing directly at the pool. It's mostly about the fence entrance. My ex-wife and I have 2 children. Our daughter is a teenager, and our son is a young teen. We divorced 11 years ago and share custody of our children 50/50. My ex is remarried and has a stepdaughter at home. Is the same age as our daughter. My ex and her husband are attempting to bring the children closer together, particularly the 2 girls, who are the same age. This did not work. I know from my children's time with me that they are not close to her, and my daughter in particular dislikes her stepsister. I've previously discussed issues with my ex. I know her stepdaughter struggles with other kids liking her because she is frequently excluded by them. This was something my ex wanted me to discuss with our children previously. My daughter and her best friend received an invitation to a Halloween party. This year, the kids are with me for Halloween, so she requested permission to go. I spoke with the hosting parents and felt it was safe for my daughter to go given the circumstances. My ex was furious when she discovered I had given an adult permission to go. She wondered why I hadn't offered to take her stepdaughter in the first place, given that I was dropping the girls off and picking them up. Then she mentioned that her stepdaughter was excluded from the party, whereas every other child in that grade was invited. She felt that her daughter should not attend to support her stepsister. She tried to stop me from letting her daughter go. I told her she couldn't make the decision. She argued that I should foster a supportive sibling dynamic among the girls, and it appears that our children only support each other, and not their stepsister, whom they've known for more than half their lives. My ex told me that allowing her daughter to attend this party would make me look like a complete idiot to a teen girl. I am the idiot, not the idiot. Your daughter is her own person. If she wants to go to a party and has your permission, and you are her guardian. During that time, you have the authority to allow her to go. You are not encouraging bullying or discrimination against your ex's stepdaughter, nor would you encourage supportive sibling dynamics between the girls. You punish your daughter by not allowing her to leave. Ex wants daughter to say, "I'm not coming to the party because my stepsister wasn't invited to show solidarity." But your daughter doesn't even like her stepsister, and she refuses to give up her own social life. Forcing her to do this is punishment. She would do it for her brother because they care about each other and support one another. They would become increasingly close as their mother, Opie's ex, made them uncomfortable by forcing and punishing their siblings' relationships. What your ex is attempting to do will fail spectacularly. Here quote the next story. A guitar for telling my husband that I would never agree to have his child if I knew he would break our agreement. Original post, June 24th, 2024. A 36 FMA neurologist, and I adore my patients and my job. I believe that there is no greater honor in life than the ability to help others. My path to a medical degree was difficult, with numerous rejections. I was a troubled teen in high school, and I did not get accepted to any colleges my senior year. I had to work my way up, beginning with remedial classes at the local community college. I was overjoyed when I was finally accepted to medical school at the age of 26. I met my husband at 7:30 a.m. in my 3rd year of medical school. We've been married for 4 years now. My husband works in marketing, and I have made 3 times his salary since the beginning of our relationship. I was very clear that I was unsure about having biological children. My dream had always been to adopt from foster care, and my husband seemed to understand this. However, after his boyfriend had a baby boy last year, he began to press me to have children. I was initially opposed to this idea because I was just starting my career. I wanted to wait a few more years before revisiting the subject of children. In August of last year, I discovered I was unexpectedly pregnant as a result of a contraceptive failure during sexual activity. I was considering having an abortion, but after many heartfelt conversations with my husband, We decided to keep the baby and have him quit his job and stay at home until our daughter was old enough to start preschool. We made the decision to have him stay at home with our daughter after considering several factors. I made significantly more money than he did, so it made financial sense. I'm in my first few years as an attending physician, after 4 years of medical school followed by a 4-year residency. I'm only starting to practice on my own. Where is? My husband has a 15-year career. I was extremely clear. I had absolutely no desire to stay home and be a housewife. I admire stay-at-home mothers, but my job is my life, and I would go insane at home all day. This isn't the lifestyle I want. Finally, I do not feel comfortable enrolling my child in daycare until she is old enough to express herself verbally. As a young molestation victim, I simply do not trust people enough to leave my daughter in the care of strangers when she is unable to report abuse or neglect. Our daughter is 9 weeks old today, and I plan to resume my practice in a few weeks. This weekend, I left my husband alone with our daughter while I attended a medical conference out of state. The conference was incredible. But when I returned home, my husband began acting strangely. Today, while our daughter was napping, I pressed him to explain what was wrong. He completely broke down and said he didn't think he could do it. He expressed how trapped, alone, and stressed he felt throughout the weekend. He now wants me to extend my maternity leave and is talking about trying to reclaim his job. This freaked me out, and I wondered what we would do with our daughter now. He replied by suggesting that I leave my practice and work from home. I said absolutely not, and he suggested daycare. At this point, I just lost it and screamed. If I had known you were going to break your promise to care for our daughter, I would not have had your child. I know I overreacted, but I would never trade our daughter for anything. I adore her, but I am so upset with my husband that I am unsure how to proceed at this time. Aita has no agreement, but Whoop received the majority of NTAs, with a few other mixed reactions. More information from Up to address some health-related issues. OOP, a few people have brought this up, so I'll just address it here. I began hormonal BC at the age of 17 after losing my virginity. Unfortunately for me, I am the type of woman who experiences almost every side effect listed in the 3-page pamphlet. I tried several different types, but I eventually decided it wasn't for me. I had a copper IUD for a few years, but I had it removed early because it caused severe cramping. I've been using condoms for several years and have never had a problem. Also, I never let my husband ejaculate into the condom while his penis is inside me. This is for additional safety. Peace of mind. Perhaps twice a year, he will arrive too quickly or unexpectedly and be unable to depart in time. He arrived unexpectedly on the night we conceived my daughter. The end of the condom. I didn't think much of it because it only happened occasionally. But now I'm seriously reconsidering something. Relevant comments. Commenters. 1. How can a neurologist work from home? And he's very happy for you. Feel trapped, stressed, and alone. It is time for him to grow up. Oop! If I take on a new role, I will most likely have to stop caring for patients. As a neurologist, I would most likely end up doing consulting work for a health insurance company. I know it sounds soul-sucking. Commenter 2. Why in the world would you return to work after 9 weeks? Don't you have 1 year of paid maternity leave? Oop! Not in America. To be honest, you're lucky to get paid maternity leave in this country. Commenter 3 is NTA but Up. I would consider the red flags here. He wanted a child and you unexpectedly became pregnant. Now he wants to return to work, but the deal has unexpectedly changed. Furthermore, why did he feel alone and stressed when he stayed at home? But you appear to be unconcerned about staying at home and feeling the same way. Updated on September 29, 2024, 3 months later. Hello, everyone. It has been a few months since my original post. I'm not sure how to link it. Check out my profile. I had not expected my post to receive so much attention, and I was honestly stressed out by thousands of comments and hundreds of DMs. I even discovered my post screenshotted and uploaded on Twitter to everyone who sent me kind and supportive DMs. Thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you realize. To those who sent me nasty DMs criticizing me as a mother, you are part of the reason why 40% of female doctors go part-time or leave medicine entirely within 6 years of finishing their residency. Women can want a career and a family, just as men have for centuries. This doesn't make us evil monsters. To those who sent me DMs seeking medical advice, I am not comfortable giving medical advice on Reddit, and I sincerely hope you find the help you require. I discuss this further in a separate comment, but hormonal birth control does not work for all women. Even board-certified genealogists will attest to this. After nearly 10 years of experimenting with every type of birth control available, I concluded that condoms and pull-out were sufficient. Was this a stupid decision? Yes, but 40% of doctors are overweight, indicating that we are not always the best at looking after our own health. Regardless, I have no regrets. I love my daughter and would not change a thing. Okay, time for the actual update. A few days after I wrote my original post, I realized how terrible what I said to my husband was. Regardless of how upset I was, I should never have used our daughter as leverage in an argument. Even if I had to quit my job tomorrow and become a single mother, I would do it for her because I love her more than anything and would always choose her. I still feel terrible about saying this. That was a truly terrible thing to say. Another mistake I made was not being more patient and accepting with my husband in certain situations. My mother traveled from out of town to stay with us for the first 8 weeks after I gave birth. My husband contributed significantly. I quote, "D say they both did about half of the work with the baby for the first week or so while I recovered. After that, we divided the work among the 3 of us. So going from having 2 people support him to being alone for a whole weekend in less than 10 days was obviously a huge shock. And I should have realized that his complaints about feeling trapped, stressed, and alone are precisely the reasons I have no desire to be awesome. Yes, we made a deal, but I should have allowed him to express his concerns openly without flipping. I stayed with my sister and our daughter for a few days after the fight to give my husband some space. He would come to see her every day during this time, but we agreed not to talk. When I arrived home, I apologized to him for mishandling the situation. To my surprise, he also apologized. He told me that he never intended to withdraw from our agreement. He became so stressed that he was unsure if he could properly care for our daughter. He apologized for giving up so quickly, and I wished he had told me that no matter what we decided, I should not leave my practice. He ended his apology by saying he wanted to give being a stay-at-home dad another shot. We then had a long discussion about how we would proceed from there. He told me that caring for our daughter was not the most difficult part. Keeping up with the cooking and cleaning proved difficult. So we decided to hire a maid and order a meal kit delivery service. He joined one of the new parent support groups 3 times a week to help alleviate his isolation. My sister-in-law has agreed to come over and babysit for a few hours so he can go to the gym or spend some alone time. I also told him that if he ever feels like he can't be Assad anymore, he should tell me. I made it clear that, while I would be slightly disappointed, I would be far more disappointed knowing that he was exhausted and upset from caring for our daughter. Since then, we've taken steps to strengthen our marriage, such as scheduling weekly date nights. I'm not yet comfortable leaving our daughter with anyone other than family, so most of our date nights consist of long walks while pushing her in the stroller or Netflix and takeout on the couch. But hey, it has been working. Addressing the intentional tampering issue. No, comma, I don't think this happened. I honestly did not bother asking my husband about this. I believed that an accusation of this magnitude would be harmful to our marriage, especially since it was already in such a fragile state. My husband has agreed to have a vasectomy so that we can avoid any more happy accidents. He is scheduled for later this year, so we will abstain from 5 until then. This whole situation made me realize I needed to return to therapy, and I've been seeing my therapist for about 6 weeks now. My previous trauma had not had an impact on my life in about 8 years, but having a daughter and dealing with postpartum anxiety has brought back some very dark memories. I recognize that my trauma has made me overprotective, and I want to work through this so that I can be a good mother and partner. Many people advised me to leave my husband, and I'm sure many of you reading this may believe I'm making a mistake. I know I'm not. My husband had a weak moment and broke down, but he has no history of being untrustworthy, dishonest, or unsupportive. He helped me through my last 2 years of medical school and my residency. Please keep in mind that my post focused on the low point of our relationship. It did not reflect the 8 wonderful years we've shared together. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, oh dear, it's all very step 40. My husband and I have been dating for about a year. I was studying for the US Step 2 exam. This is a monster of an exam. 9 hours in one day. You'll be tested on all of your clinical knowledge. Your residency match is heavily reliant on your Step 2 performance. Obviously, I was overly stressed about 6 weeks before my exam. My husband and I had a dinner reservation for 8 p.m. I was exhausted and accidentally fell asleep at 6 p.m. After standing him up for dinner at 9 p.m., he knocked on my apartment door to see if I was okay, and I burst into tears as soon as I opened it. All of the stress and anxiety poured out. I was sobbing into his chest, telling him I couldn't finish medical school. He spent the entire night comforting me and remained by my side throughout. He delivered me meals twice a day so I didn't have to cook, did my laundry once a week, ran my errands, looked after my cat, and gave me numerous back massages because I spent so much time hunched over my textbook. He provided me with emotional support throughout the process. He never let me lose sight of my dream and did everything he could to support me during a difficult time. This is my husband, and I'm returning the favor. I'm helping him in any way I can as he goes through this difficult transition into being sad. Call me a Stepford wife all you want, but it's not worth it to me to lose my family over one horrible fight over whether or not she will have any more children, and if not, what procedures will be required. Nope. My husband is undergoing a vasectomy. I tried a copper IUD for a while, but it gave me horrible periods. I am sick of family planning focusing solely on women. I don't want to deal with the side effects of hormonal birth control for another 10 years, especially since my husband has agreed to a quick outpatient procedure.